Listen, can never tell Tariq about this.
In exchange for the Western name to my list of donors, no need to worry. I'll take it to the grave.
Now, whether you're in the boardroom or in the street game, you can always find different levels of dirty, and according to Tariq, Rashad Tate was the right level of dirty. So we saw Brayden taking full advantage of Tate's need for cash for his campaign, in exchange for replacing Tariq with Brushandria, leaving Tariq without an internship. Now this is how he gave Tariq no choice but to accept a position at Western Holdings, Law 31 from the 48 Laws of Power, control the options and get others to play the cards you deal. So in episode 2, Brayden somewhat mirrored Tariq what he did to him for the majority of seasons 1 and 2, where Tariq was able to use Brayden's privilege to get around and build his mini empire at Stansfield.
Yo man, I got fucking suspended.
For fighting?
Well, not for fighting, for punching a Weston.
So taking out the competition is something you have to do if you want their territory. But this was just one example of how Tariq used the Western name to eliminate the competition at Stansfield. But when Brayden was at his family's hedge fund, a building that bears the Western name, Tariq was entering his playground, where we see him feeling comfortable in making similar moves. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down how Brayden was able to manipulate Tariq St. Patrick into moving product at Wall Street, something he was against at first until he realized those on Wall Street literally swim in this product. We're also going to be looking at the differences between Tariq and Brayden's need versus greed, his relationship with Kiki Travis, and how we're going to see his relationship with Tariq St. Patrick take a dark turn in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. Now, one thing we've learned about Brayden is he hates everything about his family apart from the privilege that comes with a Western name. He's clearly the opposite to Trace, and so are Robert and Lucas Weston. Lucas tried to teach Trace the ropes at Western Holdings, but he's uptight just like his father, whereas on the other hand, Brayden is someone who's right down Lucas's alley.
Course correct was genius. If I was still at Stansfield, something I would have thought of.
Thank you. Finally.
So Lucas is the polar opposite just like Brayden, but even though Brayden doesn't exactly see eye to eye with Trace or his father's ways, at the end of the day, they are still family and he's still a Western. So we had Trace making a point in episode 1, put some respect on the Western name or there's the door. So even though Brayden doesn't exactly want to be in this line of work or in a building which bears the Western name, it does come with its sets of advantages, something that he definitely took advantage of in episode 2. Now after Noma's ruthless introduction in episode 1, Kane, Tariq, Brayden and Effie have been forced to team up to move more weight than ever before, and what we've learnt is they're good at different things. Kane is good at moving product on the streets, Effie and Tariq were going to hit the Ivy Leagues, and Brayden's territory was the country clubs. But one thing he did not want to let go was moving weight through Western Holdings, which did make sense because we all know these guys can swim in this product. But Tariq was right to shut Brayden down on his idea, because the consequences for what happened in season 2 for both Tariq and Brayden was a complete opposite.
Listen, man, you just admitted to being a whole drug dealer, and your punishment was a 6-figure income. I didn't admit to shit, and yet somehow I lose housing, and I'm still doing damage control? The fuck?
So this goes back to how Brayden has the advantage of being a Western. His price for admitting he was a drug dealer at Stansfield in court was a 6-figure salary, whereas with Tariq, he needed Rashad Tate's help just to stay at Stansfield. It's the power of privilege, a tool that Tariq has been using to his advantage during seasons 1 and 2 when he could. But one of the main key themes for episode 2 was need versus greed. And are the choices that our characters are making for the greater good for the team, or are they just thinking about their own selfish desires? This is where I think we can make a good case for Brayden willing to do whatever he can to get what he wants. Brayden once said he's not in this game for money, and how money doesn't buy happiness. He's in this because of the thrill, the excitement, but also something that he can proudly call his own. That's if a drug empire is anything to be proud of, that is. But you get the gist. Brayden wants to create his own legacy, and look at the lengths he went to in episode 2 to make that happen. We saw him go to Rashad Tate and giving him a donation which adds the Western name to his list of donors, something that I don't think his father will be too happy about based on their history, and something that could have yet another negative impact on his family. But it comes back to the theme of need versus greed. So far in Ghost, they've shown why Tariq needs to sell drugs, or why Effie's in the game. On the other hand, Brayden is in the game because he's finally found something he's good at, but he definitely doesn't need to be in the game. But what Brayden did show in episode 2 was he's good at making some chess moves. So for the first time in Ghost, we've seen Brayden make some serious moves that will benefit their drug organization, although the way he went about it could be questioned, but it was definitely smart. So first he had an intern fired from his position at Western Holdings, as well as Tariq fired from his under Tate before he even started. That intern left an opening at Western Holdings, and he had his uncle Lucas Weston bring Tariq in for diversity. But I am glad they touched on this family squabble, because it clearly shows the consequences of season 2. It's not completely gone brushed under the carpet. Tariq still has to fight his way to clear his name, because being found not guilty isn't exactly the same as being found innocent, and we all know Tariq St. Patrick He is anything but innocent, so he seems to have a lot of people against him, but Lucas and Brayden certainly had his back in this situation. Now, bringing Tariq to Western Holdings was the first move. The next was showing him this market they could get in on, and he did that by having Tariq set up a meeting room where he knew full well what happens before a meeting. Now, this is an industry where the burnout rate is so high. People are constantly high as fuck to get that paper, with the leaders squeezing everything they can out of those who work on Wall Street. So Tariq finally came around to Brayden's vision. He knew the numbers were insane when he did the math. But they had a slight problem. Nick was a personal trainer who was a current supplier. The way Nick supplied product to those on Wall Street was by leaving them with protein shakes in their lockers after gym sessions, and even sometimes on their desks. But this is where the street game intertwined with Wall Street. They had to eliminate their competition, and to do that they needed Kane. But it was actually Drew they had to turn to eliminate Nick. Now, just a quick one on Nick. We all know he was a supplier at Western Holdings, but he would have had a connect himself. So whether this comes back to be a problem is something we're just gonna have to wait and see. But now Tariq and Brayden are the new suppliers, and this probably is the new way they're gonna start to move their weight. We know Effie can code and create apps, so sales are definitely about to climb.
Where are we?
A private floor. Supposedly there's more, but it's the only one I have the code for.
There's more?
Now, I do wonder if they've left a little clue with how there's quite a few private floors within Western Holdings, but with this being the only one that Kiki Travis has the code for. So what exactly are on these private floors, and could Brayden and Tariq use them to potentially help their operation within Wall Street? It's very similar to how Tariq found Stansfield's roof when Lauren showed him, but this time, it's Brayden who may have found a private floor at Western Holdings through Kiki. Now, on his relationship with Kiki, I do think Brayden definitely needs to watch his back, because Kiki did make it known what she likes. She likes money, and she's just a number of people I don't trust, Salim being another. I really don't know what it is about Salim, but something just doesn't sit right. But let me know what you guys think about Salim, because I can't be the only one. Now, eventually we are going to see Brayden and Tariq clashing at Western Holdings, and no doubt, it's going to be around the time Tariq finds out about Lauren being alive. So even though everything seems to be all business and pleasure for some, the Lauren situation and potentially Tariq finding out about Brayden's backhanded maneuvers could be a problem. So that could definitely throw their little Wall Street operation off, and potentially giving law enforcement a way in when they start to have their internal issues, because when you're fighting amongst yourself, sometimes you lose sight of the bigger picture. But that's a breakdown of Brayden on Wall Street and his clever manipulation of how he managed to get Tariq in Western Holdings as well as moving product on Wall Street. Now, could this backfire? Of course it will, but how it unfolds is what we're all here to see, because problems are definitely on the horizon, and it's only a matter of time before we see Tariq and Brayden clash. I also wonder if Brayden giving a donation to Tate is the reason why he ends up being connected to the investigation board with law enforcement trying to connect the dots. So drop all your thoughts down below on Tate's potential involvement as well as Brayden's maneuvers. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.